Sup fam? Shabbat shalom. Happy Friday. I got in from work a few minutes ago, so it's like well after midnight now. It was a fun night at work. I got to share the gallery space with my nephew, Joshua. We had a fun night together. And yeah, it was some good quality time with fam. I work with my nephew and his wife. And then my other nephew kind of expressed interest in like looking for like an extra side job or something. And we were like, come work with us. It'll be like our whole family. It'll be fun. So yeah, it was a fun night at work. Lots of busyness, lots of energy, lots of just good stuff. Oh my gosh, y'all. I finished Stranger Things the other night. I thought that maybe I still had an episode left, but as it turns out, it was finished. The season was finished, and it made sense. It was a big culmination, but it's like an American Horror Story though. How many times have you gotten, tell me if I'm alone in this, but how many times have you been watching American Horror Story? They do this in every season, and you're like, wow, that must have been the last episode. It really just like everything really completed itself. And then it's like there's still 20 more episodes of this season. It feels like the longest seasons ever. But that's good because I can't get enough of American Horror Story. I love that. I love anything Ryan Murphy does. He's awesome. Yeah, what else? I had nothing specific to report. Nobody throwing up tonight. Nobody doing anything crazy. It was just pretty straightforward, just fun and busy. But we have quite a handful of cards and quite a mouthful to talk about. There's so many layers happening, and I feel like I've experienced like almost every single layer of this like cake today. So I'm just gonna start by showing you guys the cards, and then we'll talk about them. Because it's like this one big, huge story, but there's like so many subplots going on. Like, you know, when you watch one of those movies where it's like an ensemble cast and there's like a million like vignettes going on that they keep cutting to, but they all somehow tie together in the end. That is our message today. So the first card I picked was from the Wild Unknown Archetypes by Kim Kranz, and it was the Fault Line. And the Fault Line is also layered. In a way, it speaks to this kind of line in the sand, this crack that has been split, this line or the space that has come between, right? But it's also about this precarious tension building in a situation where you find yourself walking on eggshells. Are you tiptoeing around anything in your life right now, or anyone or any situation, because you're afraid of the whole thing like either coming to light or unfolding or unraveling or coming apart at the seams? Like, think about it. Are you walking on eggshells in your life anywhere right now? Because of the rest of the spread, though, I feel like there is some sort of this ties into our interpersonal relationships. Because following this, we have 3 of Swords. We had 4 of Pentacles reversed. We have Knight of Swords. And then we have Page of Wands. But actually, I'm going to flip these around because the way that I see it when I look down and read the cards, the Knight and the Page are going away from one another. And then when I'm looking at my my monitor here, it's really just my phone, like in the mirror position. And so I'm always like, I don't know if it's going to be straightforward or reverse. And like, I also like read just enough Hebrew for like Kabbalah prayers and things, and so that goes the opposite of like English writing. And so now when I'm looking at like a pictorial sentence, I'm like, I don't know what I don't know what's up and down anymore. So okay, so this will be our starting card. So with fault line being like our oracle theme of like there's cracks, there's tension, there's something very precarious like right now, and we're walking on eggshells trying not to crack like the ice, right, and fall through. So what are we walking on eggshells in our life right now? And it could be layers of things, because I think that overall this whole reading is talking about, first, the root of it is talking about parent healing, mother and father healing. And I think from there, there's a situation spilling out into a personal relationship. It could be romantic, it could be a close friendship, it could be a close family member. But I feel like it might not be family. I feel like it's like a parent related, and then a close relationship outside of family, probably romantically related somehow. And then also it's affecting our work life, but it may not be affecting the work that you do to make money. It may be affecting like a bigger goal that you're after. You're maybe like the results that you want are slowed down. Or it could be affecting work. Like I think it's having an effect on your goals and your material growth, and that could have to do with your finances as well. So it's like slowing down. There's like a bottleneck, and Venus rules romance and money, and like the household as far as like the way that you live. So those things are always connected, love and money. So whenever we're challenged in our relationships, you might notice that simultaneously you have an issue going on with your job or like your income. It's weird, but they're both ruled by the planet Venus, and so that's why. So we start with the Three of Swords, and this is about suffering due to a separation. And so I feel like maybe there is some distance between you and someone that may be deep down a manifestation of deeper issues connected to unresolved like archetypal mother wound and father wound. So that's affecting the situation, and it's causing a rift between two people, because the Three of Swords is sadness and suffering as a result of separation, and misunderstanding and miscommunication. Then we have Four of Pentacles reversed, and this many times has to do with like don't overspend, rein in your money, but also I feel like it has a lot to do with trying to keep control over a situation. And I think the situation here is that you're trying to control the outcome around this and around your goals, and maybe not even consciously the parent healing situation, but because you're trying to control it and you're not feeling relaxed enough to trust the situation to unfold the way it needs to for healing to occur, it's causing you to lose control of the situation, because you're losing control of yourself. You're losing touch with that virtue of self-mastery, self-control. And so remember that we're trying to pay attention to our thoughts first, because our thoughts affect our feelings. And we really can choose what we think about, and we can choose not to think about certain things. And we can also choose to perceive things differently. One of the things I try to remind myself to do is, if a situation or a person has upset me, or if there's beef there or bad blood, I try to pray that the Holy Spirit, like I'll try to say, I'm willing to see this differently. That's something that Gabrielle Bernstein talks about in, I think, May Cause Miracles, which is one of the best like process books I've ever read in my life, and it's very simple. But yeah, just start with, I'm willing to see this differently. And I think that is originally comes from A Course in Miracles. A lot of her work is like, teaches the principles and themes of A Course in Miracles. So it's you start by just saying, okay, Holy Spirit, I'm willing to see this differently, right? Instead of trying to control and manipulate and have an agenda. And a lot of times we don't even realize we're doing it. But if you have like an outcome that you want and you're trying to choose the way you act and what you say and how you do things based on the result that you want to get, then inadvertently you are trying to manipulate the situation. So the best thing you can do here is pause and don't do anything at all. Just let go and release. Because you want to get, your perspective is probably kind of jacked and you're probably tripping. And so you want to get that under control first, before anything else. And then you will begin to feel more trusting and stable within the situation. And then that's when like the hairball can start untangling. And then I think that this is interesting because it was like up next is the Knight of Swords and the Page of Wands. And I like this depiction here and how the cards came in the order that they did, because it's like these two people have their backs to one another. And the Page of Wands is standing here like, all right, cool. I don't know if you guys are seeing it reversed, but when I look down at it, and I'm reading it the way it's supposed to, she looks like she's looking into the future. But in this, the way that you're seeing it, it might look like she's looking into the past. But the Page of Wands is standing there going, you know, I'm just standing here and I'm looking forward and I'm not going back and like chasing after this situation or whatever. I'm just standing here firm. I've got my own desert to go through. And it's so funny because look, they're in the same landscape, really. The Knight is dealing with a little bit more clouds. The Page of Wands is like, all right, I'm fairly calm. I got a handle on my situation. I'm looking forward and I'm hanging out and I'm not like going willy-nilly over here. And then you have Knight of Swords, who's just like galloping away from the situation, just running wild as fast as he can, or they can. It's like, I mean, this horse, look at that horse. It's like possessed. It's like, can't get away fast enough. So there's some sort of situation. Twin flame language. It's like rift. Guess what? Divine masculine and feminine separation. Overly controlling, manipulating, you must surrender and release and let it all die because you've got a runner-chaser situation. Except the chaser has stopped chasing. They are sitting. This looks like divine feminine, standing her ground, just doing her thing, looking off and like making plans to like get through this desert. And the Knight of Swords is like divine masculine. And kind of going in the opposite direction. Also, it seems like the divine masculine is dealing with a lot of mental stress right now, or at least a lot of thoughts and confusion that they are trying to get a hold of. These clouds, it's not super stormy, but it doesn't also look like a sunny like cloud day. It looks like urgent, abrupt, abrasive clouds. This is air sign, by the way. I'm saying Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And then here we have Page of Wands, which I feel very Aries about. Although this is more of an Aries because the Page is the youngest of the court. And the Aries is the youngest of all of the zodiac. And as well as the Page of Wands, but also the youngest fire sign. Okay, so separation, not talking. There's a rift here. There's eggshells being walked on. And it seems as though like the air needs to be cleared in the situation. This is the material manifestation of parent healing that needs to happen. I'm just going to keep holding these up so you can look at them. So the Capricorn full moon on Wednesday brought about, like, Capricorn is the father of the zodiac, and Cancer is the mother of the zodiac. And so the full moon always happens in opposition, because it's like standing opposite of the sun, and the sun is in Cancer right now and the moon is in Capricorn. So it's like mother and father are having a face off, and we're the baby in the middle, and we have wounds on both sides. And these wounds affect us, and they affect the lessons that we are playing out in our lives and how we have our interactions with others. And the mother and father wounds often they affect our money and love, because they both inform our sense of self-worth and our sense of security and those issues, right? So if we feel insecure and we have low self-worth, then we're probably going to end up having some turbulence within our love lives and within our finances. And the more that we go back and do this root work and this parent healing, we not only start to understand our parents from the perspective of just being more compassionate and understanding, because we start seeing them as just people who grew up and had their own wounds that were handed down from their parents. And so we're all just kind of like groping around in the dark, and not everybody is spiritually awakened, including your parents. Like, you might be more awakened than them at this point. Like, you might have surpassed their progress on a spiritual level or on a consciousness level. So they may have never done any of this work or considered any of this. They don't know about healing the sins of the generation, or going back and reparenting themselves so that they aren't the parent that they had, so that they can fill in the gaps and like be the parent that they didn't have, you know? But that's what we're doing now. And so we're starting to see our parents from a more compassionate lens, and start to understand the context of why things played out the way they did in our childhood, because now we are also adults with our own problems, so we can relate a little bit more. So we're not blaming, it's just that we're going back and exploring how these beliefs were implanted to begin with, and taking power over going back and reprogramming them, and realizing that they're not actually relevant. We just started to have this belief, and it wasn't something that was visible or in our awareness, right? And then our lives started to play out in certain ways as a result of that. So another level of the parent healing is actually healing the patterns that arose as a result of the original wounds. The original wounds maybe weren't that damaging, but like the patterns that resulted from them had like a great effect on our lives. So we are going back and discovering these patterns now, and kind of reprogramming them, and even just becoming aware of them, and then making the connection and having that new understanding as an adult goes so far, right? It does so much. So that's helping a lot. But because we're still working on this, things in our life are still affected by all of the momentum that we've been building all this time with these problems and this baggage from the lens of our problems and the way that we've been perceiving things. So right now it's like we're trying to pump the brakes on all of these things that are manifesting now, as opposed to like that were put there by, put in place by, these kind of old beliefs that we're now starting to change. And the way that it's manifesting at this moment is it's sort of bottlenecking the energy, and it's mirroring itself within this current, like, I just keep calling it a rift, like this space, this crack that separated, that's got this happening, right? So the parent healing and the inner work is going to help resolve this rift. Also letting go of control and just accepting that you are where you are right now. Like, it's fine. And if things are like, real or authentic or whatever, it'll work itself out. And if it's not, then great. Then it's out of the way and we're moving into a new cycle. But either way, I think we should just be relaxed that it's all fine and it's all going to play out just the way it needs to. Now, Kabbalah teaches us about some very helpful steps when we feel like we wonder if we should have a confrontation, or if we feel like we need to have a heart-to-heart, but we really don't know how to go about it. And first, Kabbalah asks us to pause. Before we react or put our 2 cents into a situation, it's best to examine ourselves and what our intentions are and what is our normal tendency. Because we're always trying to transcend our weaknesses, right? So if you're the kind of person that when shit goes down, you're always the one that's like, let me tell you something. And you're like so quick to like jump in and like tell it how it is and like go like, follow up on this, If that's you, then the restriction and the thing that you need to practice in the moment is maybe holding your tongue or, maybe not being so confrontational. If you're the kind of person that avoids confrontation, then maybe what you're being challenged to do is to actually have the courage to have that kind of a heart-to-heart confrontation or talk. So once you're like, you've got to be super honest with yourself, because it's like that saying, like, if you cheat, you're only cheating yourself. Well, in this case, yes, because when it comes to this kind of thing, if you're not totally honest with yourself, or if you try to pretend like you're not, like, oh no, it's this way, the bullshit, like you can smell that kind of energy. You can, the energy of your intention is going to be flavoring the whole interaction, right? So you want to make sure that your intentions are pure and that anything that you want to confront or not has to do with the highest good of the connection and the evolution of you. It's not you to fix the other person or to bring them along, but this is about what you need to do to overcome your weaknesses and your usual natural tendency. Okay? Also, you need to ask, am I being a builder or a destroyer by bringing this discussion up? Is this for my ego, or is this for the progress or the ultimate good of the connection? Yeah, just be very honest with yourself about that. And before you talk to the person about it, you need to pray and connect with Creator, Source, Divine, Higher Power, and offload all that you feel. Ask to see this through the perspective of the highest good, of the Holy Spirit, of agape love. And pray on that for maybe, at least a couple of days. If you have like a concentrated period of time to go out and like go on a long walk and pray for it for a couple of hours, all the better. Keep checking in with this issue for a day or two, but like stay in prayer about it until you feel more of a peace. And by this time, you may have tweaked or changed your perception of the whole situation. And at this point, you may be really glad that you hadn't confronted too soon. Timing is everything. And that's another thing. Is this the right timing to do this? Or does this not feel like the right timing? It doesn't have to be logical. Your instincts, like, it'll feel right or it won't. Another thing that has to be in place is, will the person even be open to hearing this? Like, do you know that you're wasting your breath from the get-go? Because in those situations, like the words will be wasted and they might cause more damage than they do good anyway, right? So is the person ready or open for this discussion? And then after you've prayed about it, after you've really thought about it, after you feel like, you know, timing and everything is in order, then what we want to do is do like a meditation where you connect with this person in the 5D within the realm of your like inner vision, and have the talk with them there and be just as loving and kind and compassionate as you would if you were in person with them face to face. But discuss this on a spiritual level before you bring it into the physical, because then it is prepared at the highest level of consciousness. And it puts like a more blessed energy around the situation. And many times after you do that and you go through those steps, it all resolves itself before you ever need to bring it up, right? But if you get to all of this, if you get through all of this and you feel good and you feel like you're in a loving place and the time and the opportunity presents itself and you want to, like, you know, have this talk or whatever, set your boundary or set it, you know, I wouldn't say set an expectation, but like, yeah, set a boundary or just have an honest heart-to-heart discussion or whatever. At that point, I would say, be loving, be fair, and don't force it on the person. Make sure that they are willing to be talking about it as well. All right. So yes. So I believe that the more inner work we do on like wrapping up this layer of parent healing, I think that the other things are going to start relaxing as well. These three issues are connected. There's like this big manifestation goal, and it could be tied into like your financial growth right now, and you might feel just like things are like plateaued or like slowed down. Then there could be like some kind of tension within a friendship or within like something. It could be a romantic relationship, maybe not. It could be the twin flame situation, maybe. You'll be able to discern this for yourself. But it will also be connected to all of this parent healing too. So this is quite a knot to untangle, but it's like, just like when you like get like a necklace all tangled up and you're like, I'll never be able to untangle this little chain. It's like this knotted up mess. Once you get like a couple of like loops pulled out and it loosens up, then it's almost like one move and it all like comes untangled, right? And I think that that's kind of the energy that we're in right now. So try not to lose your mind or go insane. Also, there could be some helpful young people in your life this weekend, like unrelated to any of the stuff, just like in a mundane sense, that are coming in, being really detail oriented and very helpful, very fast moving, very like straight to it. No hesitance, no hesitation. Great. Accept that help. Look forward to it. And you might be getting some good news or just some like happy interaction from a young person. Maybe someone you're related to. It's funny because tonight, my nephew and I were like totally these people working together. He was very Knight of Swords, fast young man, moving in, very helpful. I was like Page of Wands, like, where are all the wine glasses? Like at this large party, and they were awesome, but they were getting a lot of bottles and stuff, and so they needed a lot of razzle dazzle, whereas he was like turning and burning in the background. It was amazing. So we were like the perfect team. He was also a good young person bringing happy news, happy fun times my way. All right, y'all. I'm insane. I'm tired. I still have to eat dinner. I haven't eaten today. I just was too busy. And so I'm going to eat dinner. I'm going to water my garden. I'm going to watch probably Chilling Tales of Sabrina because it's easy. I already know it's on. And work again tomorrow. Oh, we'll have our secret sermon tomorrow night, our secret teachings of Jesus. And I think I want to do a part 2 on last week's portion of the Gospel of Philip. There was just so much to unpack, and I feel like we barely skimmed the surface. All right, you guys, y'all be good. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.